Everyone see my slide?
Yes, we can see your slide.
Yes.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Wan Dandan. Magic number is 208793. Today I want to talk about the communication in ESL. The teacher-student communication is an old topic because all educational activities are strictly based on the interaction and the communication between teachers and the students. Without communication, the educational relationship cannot be established and educational activities cannot occur. However, the progress of the times and the transformation of society, especially the great changes in politics, economic, and culture in the new century, have brought opportunities and challenges to educational, which has caused education to face new situations and new problems in teacher-student relations. Therefore, teacher-student communication, the meaning and function of teacher-student communication, the connotation and elements of teacher-student communication have been endowed with new context, and then the teacher-student communication technology also has new characteristics. Therefore, it's necessary for teachers to comprehensively receive the new context and new characteristics of teacher-student communication, keep pace with the times and grow with students so that they can take initiative in educational activities and improve the effectiveness of educational activities. The new curriculum reform emphasized the two-way communication between teachers and the students from the perspective of educational and teaching. In the teaching process, the oral and nonverbal interactions between teachers and students are diversified. Therefore, in the effective implementation of the new curriculum standards, while the teachers master the teacher-student relationship, communication skills has become one of the important indicators to improve the teaching impact. In my opinion, the skills of teaching of teacher-student communication are as follows. First of all, the important thing is to respect students. As a teacher, to be secret with their own master do for every children is the same pay and care. Teachers should maintain their professionalism in class and treat every student equally. In addition, in order to make students feel respected by teachers, teachers need to have a certain understanding of students' cultural background. In ESL class, students often come from different countries and have different cultural backgrounds. Understanding the cultural backgrounds of different students can help teachers communicate with students more freely and avoid touching the cultural taboos of some students. In multicultural society, teachers are living and studying with a group of young people of multicultural backgrounds who have different experience. Therefore, how to effectively communicate with these young people who should have different experience and cultural background is an important challenge to the quality of teachers. However, most teachers pay more attention to students' psychological problems and differences when they understand students and seldom pay attention to students' cultural difference and background, which will affect the effects of educational and teaching and students' academic achievements. Therefore, teachers understand students' cultural background has important educational significance. The second, listening carefully to students is very important for students to communicate with their teachers and give feedback when they encounter problems in the course of learning. At the same time, students respond positively to teachers who listen carefully to their feedback. Teachers should listen carefully to students both in class and after class to make them understand that teacher care about them. In addition, listening to students in the class teaching process is also a way to test the teaching effect of students. Active listening can keep teacher-students communication smooth. In the usual practice, teachers usually do not face up to the students' feelings, but simply express their views and put forward their own requirements. Affirmative orders will make students afraid to speak their minds, but when the teacher actively listens to the emotions expressed by students, the students will respond to teacher with a positive attitude. If a teacher misunderstood, the students also have an opportunity to correct the teacher's ideas so that the communication is always smooth. To sum up as an effective communication skill, active listening promotes the teacher-student relationship into a virtuous center. The teacher expect the trust students and believe that the students can be responsible for their own behavior so that students slowly grows into independent individuals in the teacher's understanding, which in turn increase student trust in teachers. The relationship between in addition, organize a variety of activities in class in order to increase students' interest in speaking English. Teachers must make students maintain a high degree of attention and active participation. High quality teaching is effective communication. This communication includes between teachers and students, as well as between students and students. Therefore, teachers should design and organizing a variety of student-centered activities to meet the needs of different teacher standards. The purpose is to allow all students to participate in classroom teaching. The importance of effective teacher-students interaction, dialogue, and communication are related to whether students following demonstrate themselves, give play to them, enthusiasm. Classroom teaching interaction is actually the process of giving and receiving between teachers and students. Is an equally dialogue process between teachers and students influencing each other. This process emphasizing the complementarity of advantages, resource sharing, mutual discussion, and mutual empowerment relation. Finally, established a partnership. The relationship here refers to the teaching atmosphere in which teachers and students share a common goal. On the one hand, teachers should strive to create a relaxed English learning environment and care about students, especially those who are nervous and inactive. when they are encouraged, they will show stronger self-confidence in communication. For sensitive needs of some students, the teacher should also show something and corner to the students and provide help us at the same time. If the students feel that they are studying with teachers rather than the teacher unilaterally imparting knowledge to them, then students will be more active. On the one hand, on the other hand, teachers should treat students' mistakes with optimism because mistakes are natural and you unavoidable in the process of learning and practice. Discovering the students' potential is more important than feeding their mistakes. When the teacher-student relationship become friendly, the students will to speak more English in class. That's all. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Wan Dandan. I might want to comment a bit about your presentation. So overall, I think your content is okay. Your elements and components in your framework, I think really helps the teachers, like in the context of as a classroom. And what I would like, I think the improvement that you can do, like for your presentation, is maybe your tone of voice, because I realized that your tone of voice during presentation is like only flat tone. So I think you need to have maybe sometimes you need to talk a bit loud, maybe to stress your points, showing that it is important, so you can catch the audience attention. I think
Okay,
that's my comment on your presentation.
okay, thank you.
Okay, think I think I would like to give my comments.
Alhamdulillah ya Allah.
What? Okay. Okay. Wan Dandan, I think your slides are clear, but it's not so creative. I think, in my opinion. So you can make it colorful, or just add some animations, or make it more creative, so it might be attract others. Uh, and as Kamarul said, maybe you can talk a bit louder because the internet connection is not stable all the time. So if you talk louder, it might be easy for the viewers to listen and easy to understand. That's all from me. And Daniel.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so my comment about your presentation is, first of all, when I see your first slide, the cover page, I think your title is quite incorrect because it doesn't have the word framework. It only says communication for ESL. So you need to add on the word framework to make it look complete. And next is your pace when presenting. Your pace cannot be very fast and cannot be very slow as well. You need to keep it average, so that because what I saw just now, based on your presentation, when you talk too fast, you seem to mispronounce a few words, and that will produce produce confusion for the teachers and the other audience that are hearing your presentation. Other than that, I think your content is relevant and necessary for the topic. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
For me, as for your introduction and the last part, I noticed that you expanded a lot. You can put more short sentence or just some keywords to help the audience understand them better. And for your cover page, I think maybe you forget to put the date and the video link, our video link. I think you can remember that. So that's all for me.
Thanks.
Okay, so Yetong, can you go next for presentation?
Okay. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
you can.
Is it possible to make it full screen?
Oh, okay. No, it's okay.
Nice.
Now it's okay. Sorry, my internet is not stable.
That's okay. We can hear you.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Sun Yetong, my train number 208841, and today I'm going to talk about the framework of communication in ESL classroom. So for the introduction part, communication is an important way to establish a good teacher-student relationship. And communication ability is necessary ability for teacher. If teacher have certain communication skill and are good at communicating with their students, they will have a certain if teachers have certain communication skills and are good at communicating with their students, they will have different educational effects, such as solving students' problem, promoting the health growth of students, and enhancing the relationship between teacher and students. At the same time, effective communication is also a guarantee for effective classroom teaching. The main goal of this framework is to enhance communication between teachers and students in our ELSA classroom. And next part is the target students. The target students are aimed at the middle school students. They are aged from 13 to 15, and students that include with different religion and races. I mainly talk about how to establish communication between teachers and students from the following four points. First, respect students and emphasize cultural identity. And the second is be a listener. And the third is hindrance to communication language barrier. And the last is create an efficient communication environment. So let's take a look one by one. In terms of respect students and emphasize cultural identity, in our ESL classroom, the most important thing is to respect each student's and cultural identity. The learners are all from different countries and religion. Due to different culture and social backgrounds, countries often form unique cultural imagine. We can see that cultural outlook determines educational outlook. Under the influence of different cultural outlook and educational outlook, ESL teacher need to understand and respect cultural difference in advance. In this teaching environment, the cross-cultural communication competence of ESL teachers is a challenge. Teachers and students should communicate openly and honestly. Only the basis of understanding can a friendship relation be formed between teachers and students and reduce the psychological burden of students. Next is from the perspective of being a listener. Listening is a skill that it is easily overlooked by many teachers. Most teachers have not really learned to listen. Once teachers learn the skill of listening and apply them to students' communication, it will improve the teacher-student relationship, help students solve problems, and cultivate their self-esteem. In ES classroom teaching, when a student has doubled or discovered that his thing is unique, he will express to the teacher's thought language. The teacher who can listen can often use language. For example, I thought about it like you. Do you think it? Do you think this is the case? Or can use nonverbal forms such as nodding knowledge or smiling for encouragement to communicate effectively with students. During this period, ESL teachers act as facilitators of students' development. Teachers use listening skills to communicate with students students on an equal footing. For students, this kind of communication means the emergence of subjectivity, the display of individuality, and the liberation of creative, thus increasing students' trust in their teachers. And for the teachers, this kind of exchange means that classes is not only to impart knowledge, but to share understanding together. The realization of all this depends on the teacher mastering listening skill and using them proficiently. And the next is in terms of language barrier blocking communication. When assessing a student's readiness to learn, an important factor is language. Understanding and being able to communicate in English is an essential skill in ESL classroom. For students whose native language is not English, language can certainly be a barrier. Limited vocabulary and language skills may prevent some students from actively participating in ESL class and socializing with peers and learning to them full potential. Teachers must use plain and simple language and talk clearly and slowly to add in comprehension, and avoid using idioms, metaphor. This may be confusing for students learning the language. And the next point is usage of interesting visual ads. Interesting visual ads can help students who can't keep up with the pace of the teachers and have poor oral English to better understand what the teachers teach, so that they won't lose interest in learning because of the language barrier. Use virtual ads breaks the traditional boring teaching contents, attracts students' attention, and seriously mobilize students' learning enthusiasm and facilitates the smooth progress of the teacher's teaching work. And the last point is to create an efficient communication environment. For a long time, teachers' thinking activity have replaced students' cognitive process, and students have lost their initiative and creativity in learning. Teachers need to design and build an efficient communication environment so as to adapt the discussion teaching method student-centered so that teachers can participate in students' group discussion. Only in this way, teachers can timely understand the ideas of students, constantly change their teaching ideas, enhance the potential of teaching. In addition, it is also hopeful for teachers to timely find the deviation in students' discussion and take appropriate control, improve the efficiency of discussion, and bring students' potential into full play. Teachers should act actively get students to master the process of independent learning, develop their thinking, so that students can make progress in thinking and exploration. And besides that, efficient communication environment encourages students to give full play to their initiative in communication and activities. In this atmosphere, foreign language learner can not only acquire language knowledge and cultural knowledge, but also creative and improve cross-cultural communication skill. So all in all, no matter how the times develop, effective exchange and communication between teachers and students and harmonious relationship between teachers and students are the guarantee for schools to improve teaching efficiency and students' physical and mental health. Teachers should make it clear that differences are the basis of communication. And the next point is communication is not to exclude and eliminate difference, but to better understand differences and seek common ground while resolving differences. Only by looking at the students with more open and appreciative eyes and communicating with them in more efficient and flexible way can we truly achieve the goal for of education. So that's all for my presentations. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Yetong. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So I would like to comment a little bit. I noticed that in your slides there are some misspelled words. Like I think maybe typos. Maybe you didn't realize it, but I think you should recheck it before submitting the slides to Miss Grace because I'm afraid that will affect your marks. Yeah, that's all from me.
Thank you.
For my comment, I think your content is already okay, but you need to after you finish your slide, you need to revise on the words that you wrote because just now I saw some incorrect spelling on some words. So I think that's all for me, and you need to pronounce words better because you also mispronounce some words. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, I think your slide is good because I can see the key point clearly. But I think there are some words that you have a little bit of pronunciation problem, so you can practice them. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
thank
all.
you, then.
Okay, as they said, it's the pronunciation problem, but it's not a major one. It's just a minor one. So I think it's possible to improve yourself. The slides are clear enough and it's creative. So the points are well stated. So I think that's all from me. I have nothing to say. That's all. It's a good presentation.
Thank you, Pavi.
Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, teacher, we can see your screen.
Okay. So hello, my name is Wan Dandan, and today I will be talking about my matrix number is 207205. And today I will be presenting about the effective framework of communication for ESL classroom. Okay, so first of all, let me talk about communication in general. So For me, communication refers to an action or a process that involves the exchange or transfer of information, either through speaking, writing, signals, sounds, or other mediums. But in this context that we will discuss about is related to the communication in the classroom setting, and to be more precise, an ESL classroom. So it is very important and crucial for us to establish a good communication framework in the classroom, as it will enhance the students' learning experience. So without further ado, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so in establishing a good communication framework for ESL students in the classroom setting, we need to take into account our target audience, which is basically the students, be it the students of our class or the students in the school. So first of all, we need to take into account the students' cultural background. So the students' cultural background, meaning the students' culture or race, and this is very crucial because when we talk to them, some stuff might seem normal to us, but it may be considered as an insult or something that offends them in a way that could be considered as a slur or a racial comment. So that is important for us as a manner, as a good manner and a good behavior and to take care of the image of us as an ESL teacher. So next is the students' English proficiency. So we need to always remember that this is an ESL classroom, so English isn't the student's first language, and therefore we must be aware that not all the students can speak English fluently with perfect grammar. And the last point for this slide is the students' learning styles. So every student have different learning styles, right? So some might catch up fast with the syllabus and some might not. Therefore, as ESL teachers, we need to always be aware with how our students adapt in our class, and we can't treat every student the same because we can expect them to get it right the first time. So next slide is I'll be talking about the challenges or barriers and the solutions. Okay, so in effort to enhance effective communication in ESL classrooms, there are always challenges and barriers that makes it difficult for the teachers to reach their goals. Nevertheless, teachers must always try their best to overcome these obstacles. Okay, so moving on. My first point is excessive verbalism. So excessive verbalism, it is one of the barriers for effective communication in the classroom. And as for that, teachers should avoid emphasizing too much on a particular subject or context that seems unnecessary or redundant, because it might draw the students' attention to redundant information. And next is linguistic ambiguity. Linguistic ambiguity is also another thing that prevents effective communication. So when teaching ESL students, teachers prefer to explain the context very briefly while putting them in simple words to avoid confusion. And for you that don't know the meaning of linguistic ambiguity is the students are not clear of what the teacher are saying, meaning they have different interpretation from one context. And next is lack of experience. So when students lack experience related to the teaching materials, meaning they, for instance, when teacher talk about food, but they don't know what type of food that the teacher is talking about, they will have trouble understanding or comprehending the context that is being taught by the teacher. And another common problem to this is limitation of perception, in which students will have very limited ideas of what the teacher is talking about. And to solve this problem is by providing visual aids. So as a responsible and an effective ESL teacher, we should provide visual aids to the students so that they will become it will become more easier for them to comprehend the context that we are talking about, because visual aids, it helps students a lot in the process of making meaning and comprehending the context, and it will enhance the presentation as well as grabbing the students' full attention. Because if we don't use visual aids, the presentation will seem quite boring to the students and dull, because it might be just black and white text that the teacher presents. So with providing visual aids, students will be more engaged and they will feel more excited to learn what's being taught in class. So for my next slide is the strategic approaches that teachers have to make in class in order to have an effective communication. Okay, so first of all is establishing a good teacher-student relationship. This is considered as the foundation to start or initiate good interaction and communication at school, for students who won't be shy to talk to their teachers, and it will be easier for teachers to approach their students. Okay, my next point is move around the class when giving out lectures. Teachers should move around the classroom and avoid from being stationary whenever they are teaching or giving lectures, because by moving away from the front of the class and also getting involved with the students, small discussions or contributing ideas to them, it will create less of a student-teacher feel and will make it easier for the students to open up to them, as they will see the teacher as someone who is more friendly. So my next point is give explanations with basic vocabularies. So whenever the teacher is teaching an ESL classroom, they need to take into consideration that, like how I said just now, every student does not have the same English proficiency. As for that, teachers must avoid using bombastic words. And ESL students will comprehend better when contents are explained in a simpler and meaningful manner. So moving on to my next point is teachers should listen actively to their students. So not just to respond and give an answer, but to hear out the students' ideas and opinions. Because sometimes by just lending an ear, it can be considered extremely useful in promoting a supportive and caring environment. And listening to your students enables ESL teachers to provide better assistance and consequently a better education for them. And finally, my last point for strategic approaches is by providing and asking for responses from the students. So this is very crucial, as teachers must know whether the students are okay and comfortable with how they are being taught in class. For instance, if a student in the classroom seems very quiet, and the student says he or she understands, but deep down they don't understand a thing what the teacher is talking about or what the teacher is teaching in class, because they might feel shy and they might have difficulties in opening up to their teachers. So whenever the teacher gives them the opportunity to respond and give feedbacks to the way the teacher is teaching, the teacher will know how they really are cooperating in class, and to what extent their comprehension is regarding the teacher's content which is being taught in class. So I guess that's all from me today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Imran. So for your presentation, I think your contents overall is great. It is relevant about our topic. But at the beginning, I realized you do the introduction just verbally, right? So I think it is better if you could maybe include a specific slide for the introduction so that it will make the audience understand your points during the introduction better.
All right, thank you, Kamarul.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. It's a good presentation. The points are clear, and I noticed that I think it's slide number 7 or 8. I'm not sure. The background is slightly blank, so I think it would be better if you add some colorful background. And your pronunciation is clear enough. I understand the points very well, and the points are very focused, especially about the teacher and students relationship. You explain it very well, and I think that's all from me. Be okay.
All right, thank you, Bobby.
I think your slide is very colorful. The color is bright, and I can see the key point. But sometimes you speak slowly, but you get your point across very clearly. That's a great presentation. Yeah, that's all.
All right, thank you, Wan Dandan.
For me, I think your presentation show us very specific practice that we can easily understand in your slide. So I think that's good. That's all for me.
I would like to add another thing, Daniel. This is important. You during your presentation, I think you already exceed 11 minutes plus. So I hope
I
you
exceeded 11 minutes.
Yes, 11 minutes because I'm keeping the thing.
You can kat bawah
Oh
plus.
my god, how many minutes?
Kat plus note.
I think it's 11 plus. I don't know exactly, but it's more than 11 minutes. So make sure you make it faster during the actual presentation. Okay, next it's me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I will share the screen. Okay, can you guys see the slide?
Yes, probably.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, that's great. Okay, hello. Good evening. My name is Pavittran, son of Paramasivam. My metric number is 205176, and today I will be presenting about the effective framework of communication for ASL classroom. And okay, this is the table of contents. We will have four parts here: introduction, challenges in communication, strategic approaches and methods, and finally the conclusion. So the first part will be introduction. Okay. First of all, I would like to explain the definition of communication. Communication is defined as a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system or symbols and sign of behavior. For my suggested framework, the target audience is Form 6 students, especially Form 6 students, specialized in who's sitting for weight examination, which is known as a Malaysian University Entry test, I think. And the second one will be literature in English language subject. Those students, those Form 6 students who are taking literature in English subject, and also those students who are with a very low language proficiency, I mean English language proficiency. And next slide will be the purpose of this framework. Okay, the purpose of this framework, I have three purposes. The main one, the first one will be improve the students engagement in an ESL classroom. The second one will be build a good understanding between teachers and students. This is important. And the third one, the final one, will be creating a harmonious environment in classroom, harmonious or pleasant environment which is suitable for learning. And okay, let's see the challenges in communication. Okay, the first challenge. Okay, sorry for the slide. This is not so good. I will change it later. Okay, the first challenge is lack of confidence among students. Okay, English is a very easy and fun language, but when come to Malaysian students, I mean Form 6 students, as a Form 6 student, I also have experienced this. So most of the time we have lack of confidence, especially during math subject. So teacher teacher faces difficulties during delivering their lessons in classroom. When the students are not confident with their language speaking ability or presentation or asking questions to teachers, so this problem rises and teachers will find hard to explain or to deliver their lessons, because when they are explaining something, the students are unable to understand. So this is a very common problem which happens in all level of studies. And the second one is the teacher is unsure about what they are teaching to the student. As I said before, when the students are unable to answer or understand what the teacher is teaching, and teacher is also responsible for the lessons they are delivering. So when this problem arises, both both parties involved are having difficulties. This is my argument. And the next challenge will be listening barriers. This is very common in Malaysian classroom. We might have a non-conducive environment, which is physical surroundings such as noisy environment. When the classrooms are not so organized, we will have these issues. And when we have listening barriers in classroom, teacher would find difficulties in explaining or teaching to the students. So when the situation or when the surrounding is not conducive, it's definitely not a good classroom. It will giving a lot of distraction for students, and finally, as a result, students will not able to understand what the teacher teach, and they will not have the intention to, they will not initiate any questions to their teachers. So this is the second challenge what teachers faces so far. And the third one is language barriers. Okay, language barriers happens when a student can't speak English due to few factors such as location factors. Location factor plays an important role here because most of the time rural students from rural areas have a very low language proficiency, and those who are from urban areas, they they might have a very good experience in speaking and English, speaking and using English in their daily life. And for those from rural area, they don't have the chance to speak in English language because most of the time they use their own mother tongue or regional language. And the second thing is poor language proficiency. Okay, this happens when a student, no matter they are from rural or urban, when they are not able to understand the language or they have a very low proficiency, they will have language barriers during the class, which makes they don't understand what the teacher is teaching. Especially during English language, when you don't understand anything, and with a poor language proficiency, the student might feel so down and embarrassing, especially when they started comparing with their classmates. And the third one will be family background and first spoken language. Let's assume that he's an Indian and they speak their first language is Tamil, and their family background they mostly prefer to speak in Tamil. So the student don't have chance to speak in English with their family members because they keep communicating in Tamil. So this might be a problem for them, for students in classroom. Okay, so even though this kind of problems arises in a classroom, teachers immediately can switch to regional language. For example, the teacher, even though it's an English subject, they still can use Malay language to give instruction, not to conduct the lessons, but to give instruction or to explain what they're going to teach. This might be easy for the students to cope up with the teacher. Okay, the third part will be strategic approaches and methods. Okay, the first approach is classroom setting. First of all, the best way to improve communication in ESL classroom is setting up the arrangement according to 21st century, which is also highly recommended, and I think it's compulsory to follow this according to the Malaysian Ministry of Education. Okay, and the next one will be focus. The classroom setting should be focusing on student-centered learning, which will involve a lot of group works, pair works, and students might mingle up with their classmates and do the assignments assigned by teachers. So the third one is teacher can, if we set up the classroom according to 21st century arrangement, the teacher might feel easy to move and watch the students' participation in classroom. Okay, the final one will be easy for teachers to assign group or pair works. As I said before, when the setup is in a proper setting where student sitting in a group, so it would be easy for them to work in pairs or group. Okay, and the second approach will be improve teaching strategies. As a teacher, teaching strategies plays important role in their career. So as a teacher, as an English teacher, they should maximize the usage of technology in ESL classroom. This is my main point because the technology keeps rising day by day. It's keep developing day by day. We have a lot of software such as Edmodo, Google Meet, Google Classroom, all this. All this eases our teaching process. So as a teacher, they should replace the outdated old-fashioned teaching method and replace with usage of smart gadgets to conduct lessons, such as using the projector instead of using the blackboard or whiteboard. Using projectors might be easy for the teachers to deliver their lessons. And the third one will be providing e-notes, online quizzes, which is environmental friendly and easy for them, for both parties, I mean teachers and students. So the students might feel excited to learn English because these kind of things are still new for Malaysians. Okay, and the next one will be using various teaching methods. Teaching methods plays a vital role in ESL classroom. Not teaching methods can be vary according to the lessons. For an example, if you are teaching verb, then you have to use a different teaching method. And if you are teaching how to write an essay, then you will be handling a different teaching method. It depends on the teacher and the group of students and also the lesson. So English language can be taught in fun ways such as increasing speaking and reading activities in the classroom. This will extremely help the students to improve their language fluency. Okay, the next one will be lesson plans with fun content such as games and quizzes. Okay. Since Form 6 students have a lot of subjects to carry, I think it will be at least 4 subjects to carry. The only place they are learning English is during MUE or literature subject if they are taking. So conducting this kind of activities might be a good approach for them, for the teachers also to deliver their lessons. It would be easy for the teachers to teach something and the students also will able to accept it very quickly. And the final one will be teachers should use mix of learner and teacher-centered methods in ESL classroom to ensure the students' understanding. Okay, it's not all the time we can use student-centered learning. Sometimes some subject we have to use, some lessons we have to use the teacher-centered learning, such as writing essays, listening tests. All these have to follow teacher-centered learning. So the teacher must be very careful in handling this. Okay, and the final approach will be teachers' quality. Teachers should have a good quality, such as having humor sense, which helps them to create a pleasant environment in classroom. Okay, so this will ensure the students are always in a fun and not non-threatening surrounding. The second one will be teachers should treat their students friendly and always must have the patience of calm acceptance with them. Okay. I would like to explain a little bit here. Calm acceptance means sometimes students don't understand the lesson and they keep asking. So as a teacher, as a as a as an ESL teacher, you should be able to explain them again and again with a lot of patience. So teachers' patience is tested everywhere. So when it comes to Form 6 students and they're sitting for a very important exam, which is MUE, so teachers' patience here plays an important role. So I think patience is very important for a teacher. And the next one is a good teacher's quality will improve students' engagement in classroom. And the final one will be teacher-student bonding will get stronger here. Okay. When a teacher is friendly with students, so the students will feel secure with the teacher. If they have any doubts, they will directly ask to them. So this is a very good approach. So teachers have to ensure that they are always in a good state, very patient and calm acceptance. Okay. That's all from me. Now I would like to conclude my whole presentation. Here I would like to tell that teachers' communication in classroom is vital in the classroom, which helps building effective communication among teachers and students in a long-term process. And the final one will be effective classroom communication can create good understanding and bonding among students and teachers. That's all from me. Thank you for listening. If do you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Pavi, for the very good presentation. I think overall is good. Your points, all of them are correct. But one thing that I think you can improve is maybe your time management for your presentation. Like you said to one Imran earlier about the time. I think you have exceeded time, but I don't know how much.
I
But I
think it's
think
2
you
minutes.
Yeah, I think you should consider to maybe speed up a little bit, or maybe explain your explanation in simpler words.
All right.
For me,
You can go first.
uh, okay. For me, I think you put some pictures on your slide. It catch my attention, and your voice is clear. I can get exactly what you're trying to say. It's very nice.
I think your presentation is very good. Your points are clear and your slide is well developed, but you need to manage your time a little bit better, Avi. Don't spend too much time on just one slide. So that's all for me. Thank you.
First, for me, I think your PowerPoint is very colorful and very articulate. And second, I think you are very comprehensive and you fully explain each point and give examples. So that's good, I think. So that's all for me.
Alright, I will continue the presentation. Wait a minute. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait. Alright, good evening to all of my groupmates. Today I am going to present about my framework on communication for ESL Classroom. My name is Rahman and my number is 207095. So yeah, let's take a look at my framework on communication. So these are my elements and components that are included in my framework. The first one is the application of students' background and general knowledge. Secondly, the effort to create a positive learning environment. Thirdly, creative and beneficial learning strategies. Fourthly, having active feedbacks in the classroom. And last but not least, the assessment and also evaluation. So let's take a look at the first element. I've included like the original one, like the before, and the after is like after my personal reflection with all the things we have learned with Miss Grace. So the first one is the application of students' background and general knowledge. Well, I think students will tend to show more interest in a discussion about something they are familiar with. Like for ourselves, like when we see someone like discussing about the things that we love, like maybe you see someone discussing about your favorite movie like Marvel, Spider-Man, something like that, and you will tend to be more focused and you want to join the discussion, right? So it's the same situation in the ESL classroom. The teachers need to relate the topic of the day that he or she will be teaching with the daily norms of the students. Like for example, students nowadays, they are so familiar and they always spend their time playing online games that during the time that they will try their best to win the game, even though they are maybe losing many times. So maybe the teachers can use that as an analogy for them to never give up in life, especially in the academics. So after reviewing on what Miss have teachers so far about all of the topics, I think the teachers must be well planned with the topic that students have the same contacts with the teachers and also other students. It's because not all students have the same context, right? Like if we talk about gaming, not all students love to love to play games, and if the teachers like just trying to relate just based on assumptions that all of the students can understand, this will affect the teaching and learning process because not all students
Kamarul, we can hear you. Kamarul. Kamarul. We can't hear you. Kamarul.
Kamarul, are you okay?
Hello. You guys cannot hear me?
No, no. Now I can hear you.
Oh, alright. I will continue with my presentation. So the next one is about the positive learning environment. So a positive environment is important for the students and teachers because if they are the positive environment, the students will feel more welcome in the class, and this will be resulting that the students will be more open and they will feel more welcome to share their opinions with the class and the teachers. The educator can start the positive energy with facial expression, close, and using cheerful tones of speaking, as this will show that the teacher is friendly and easy to approach. And after the reflection, I think teachers also need to be stern and strict at times because it is to remind the students about the respect gap that is still there between the teacher and the students, because sometimes there are students that like to take the opportunity and take the advantage on the friendliness of the teachers, like maybe they will feel that the teachers just like their friends and they will treat the teachers just like they treat their friends, which is not a good thing because a teacher is an educator in the class, so they need to respect them. So the next element is creative and beneficial learning strategies. Okay. The teacher must involve the students with interesting activities or tasks such as group work or maybe pair work. These are the learning strategies that I think should be used by teachers because with these activities, students will learn more from their mates as they are changing their ideas, opinions, and also suggestions. And also, this will promote the communication between the peers and also the teachers when the students are, reviewing with the teachers about the works. So after reviewing, the teachers do not need to organize group work all the time. Teacher also need to be creative during lecture because lecture also can be used as a learning strategist, but maybe can do it with a twist like using multiple methods, using various platforms and also media. So for example, the usage of applications like quizzes and also Kahoot is an interesting approach that can be used by the teachers. And this is the fourth point, which is having active feedback in the classroom. So as we all know, having active feedback in the classroom is very important because it is vital to the learning process as it indicates the understanding and the attention of the students in class. Because based on this feedback, like we can know that if the students are on the right track or not. So teachers can do a recap session at the end of the class to have feedbacks from the student. Like maybe the teachers can ask the members of the class to give maybe 3 keywords or 5 keywords of the day regarding of the topic. So after reviewing, in the context of feedback, there must be also student-teacher feedback, which the student are giving feedback about the teachers, him or herself. It's important for the teacher to know if he or she is doing well teaching the class and explain the topic. By having this, the teacher can know what approach he or she can use in class, and maybe from the feedback given by the students, maybe he or she will have new ideas about the approach they can be used in class. So last but not least is the assessment and evaluation. I think this is very important in an ESL classroom because assessment helps to enhance and empower the mastery of a certain topic, as it aims to help the teachers to identify students that can guide their classmates and the students that require extra aid about the topic. Where we must admit that in a class there are groups that are ahead of the class, like they are really achieve the mastery level of a certain topic, right? And there will be a group that left behind about topic. So when the teachers are doing this assessment and evaluation, he or she can identify these groups and can use this opportunity for the students to help the peers to improve on the certain topics. Like teachers can organize pop quiz or monthly tests as an effort in assessing the students. And after reflection with all of the topics that have been taught, teachers not only must organize tests or quizzes to assess and evaluate the students. There are so many other ways for the teachers to assess the students. Like teachers can do an observation on the nonverbal cues of the students, because some students we can see on their faces like if they are uneasy or confused about the topic. So with this kind of assessment, it will pretty much help the teachers in as a classroom. I think that is pretty much for my presentation. That's all from me. Thank you very much. Do you have anything to say about my improvement?
Hello, can you hear me?
All okay. Are you still presenting or what?
No.
No, he finished already.
Okay. Then
So my comment is, for me overall is okay. Your slide and your content is quite good, but I think you should include what to achieve in your framework, like the main goal or objective. Because if the students know what are their target of the lesson, then this will motivate them to focus more in the class. That's all from me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Daniel.
Okay. Hi, Kamarul. The best part is you're just perfect. The time is, I think it's 11 minutes. So the presentation time is just perfect. It's not too draggy, and the points are clear. As one Imran Daniel said, you just have to state your main objective or the main purpose of the framework, of your suggested framework. So it would be easy for us to know what's your main intention of this framework. And I like the conclusion part. It's very nice, and your slides are very organized before, after, so we can see the differences. So that's very that's very organized and it's clear. So we can get a very good explanation from you. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bobby.
For me, I think your slide is clear, but you can make it more lively and use some burnt colors, and your pronunciation is clear. So that's all.
Thank you, Wan Dandan.
For me, I think your PowerPoint is very formal and neat. And then I thought it was very complete and we can understand better. So that's all for me.
All right, thank you very much. So I guess everybody has presented, right? So, do you guys have any other things to say? No, I think we can end the meeting right now. So I think, yeah, I wish you all the best for your presentation and good luck. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
I will stop the recording now.